Welcome to Beyond the Slate, presented by the Vancouver International Black Film Festival. This is the show where we connect you with filmmakers and the story behind the work. I'm your host, Sam Léger, and today we have the pleasure to connect with Côme Ferré. Côme is a Paris-based filmmaker whose work is celebrated for its artistic depth and emotional resonance. His ability to craft visually stunning and thought-provoking narratives has made his projects stand out across genres and mediums. His film, Thank You for the Milk, will be available online at the Vancouver International Black Film Festival, taking place from December 13 to 17, exclusively online. So you make sure you grab your tickets at Vancouver International Black Film Festival.com. We want to hear your feedback. We want to see and hear what you have as comments for this movie. Côme, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. And thank you for the selection. I was really happy to hear about it.
My pleasure, my pleasure. The first thing that we'd like to know is about you and your journey into becoming a filmmaker. So if you can let us know about you, that would be great.
Well, all right. So I'm 36 years old. I started quite early, I would say. I mean, I started when I was 20, but not by directing. I first wanted to be like uh, editor or I don't know. I mean, I just knew that I wanted to work in this industry, but not really,
Okay.
without knowing what to do exactly. And then I first started working in a local TV channel in the north of France, and I started making videos on my own there. And
Mm.
then, thanks to some of them, I just put it online, and then thanks to some of them, I had the opportunity to meet some bigger production companies based in Paris, and also a national TV channel. So then I started to work for them as a director, and I was 22, I think, at the time. So it was like quite a lot because I was still very young to work as a director. I was making a commercial at the time, and also like comedic videos for a national TV channel, and and then at this very moment, then I started to think about maybe. Um, Trying to go to the next step, the next level, and writing some of my own story. Because as you know, when you're making commercial, then you're working for ad agency, and then they're writing the scripts. And I started writing, but it took me a while because as I said, I'm 36 now, and my first short film was like I've done it like 2 years ago, so when I was 34. So it has I mean, it has taken me like more than 10 years to between the moment where I wanted to actually make my own stories and where I actually did it.
Mm.
But yeah, that and know that I started it like 2 years ago. No, I this is the only thing that I'd like to do. I mean, I'm still doing
Mm.
commercial and I still love my job. But the thing is, writing your own stories is a job per se. I mean, like writing is a job that I don't know how to do yet. I mean, I'm not considering myself as a screenwriter. I'm still learning, and I think
Mhm.
this is gonna be like a huge, I mean, a long journey.
Yeah.
And directing is something I've started to do like for a long time now, but still I'm learning to make to direct like longer stories, because like commercial is
Mhm.
like 30 seconds, and Thanks for the Milk, the last short film, is like 8 minutes. And even if
Mhm.
8 minutes it's not long compared to a feature film, it's still very long for me as a very newbie,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's pretty much the whole story.
Okay, okay. So definitely it took you 10 years to take this step and to actually become the filmmaker, but you were always involved. You always knew you wanted to be a filmmaker or be involved in the cinema industry.
Yeah, the thing is, and I think I'm not the only one in this situation. The thing is, you want to do something, and then since the first thing that you have to do has to be like how can I say this? Like you want it to to put your step on the
Right.
door. So
Mhm.
you want it to be very good. So then you start thinking, oh, this is not good enough. So I'm not gonna. So you write something, but then you think it's not going to be good enough. So then you write
Mhm.
something else, and then something else, and then you kind of, in a you're blocked in this situation where
Yeah.
the next thing you write has to be better than the previous one, and
Mhm.
it's never good enough. So you never do anything, and then you kind of stuck in this state where you're like, okay, I really have to do the first one, otherwise I will never do anything. So yeah, 2 years ago, I remember thinking, okay, this is no or never. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
write something like in a day, and I'm gonna make this promise to myself that I'm gonna direct it whatever happens. So that's what I did, and this was my first film called Book Smart. And thanks to this one, then I kind of I enjoyed it so much, not only doing it but also the whole journey, going to film festival, talking to other filmmakers, screenwriters, actors, and realizing that this is actually the world that I'd like to live in. Like
Mhm.
talking to
Mhm.
artists and why they're crafting things that way. What do they want? What they want to talk about? What is their stories? And when I first started digging this, um, well, then I felt like, okay, so no, from now on, I'm just gonna keep writing, and keep promising myself that I'm gonna direct everything I write. So 2 years ago, I did this for a short film, and then I think it's like, yeah, I shot it in March, so it was like 7 months ago. I did Thanks for the Milk, which was again another level, because it was like only dialogue, and this was very new for me, and quite a challenge.
And well, now that you have mentioned it, let's dive into Thanks for the Milk. What was the story that you want to tell in this movie?
It's basically the story of how two people who are not related at all, I mean, at the first sight, are actually, I don't know if that makes sense, but like kind of um, very much connected,
Mhm.
and how love somehow can always find a way, even
Mm.
if it's not like love for as a lover. It's like love for
Yeah.
like a father figure.
Mhm.
And yeah, this is what I wanted that's what I wanted to talk about in this film, from a very, very absurd starting point. And I really wanted the audience not to think about what it could be at the end of it.
Mhm.
So so that was the whole idea.
Okay, it's funny that you mentioned that from the absurd point because I watched the film without watching the trailer. I was like, you know what? Let's see what is it about. Okay, thanks for the meal. Then I
Mhm.
was like waiting. Okay, well, where is the milk part? What is? And I was
Yeah,
greatly surprised by it. I'm trying not to give any
yeah.
spoilers, but absolutely great work engaging the audience into the subject and then thinking on, okay, here's actually what it's about. Um,
Mm.
I definitely there was more. I see that. I feel that there was more that it was recorded because as a short film, there is a lot to edit and then to condense. So
Yeah.
talk us about that process and what to put in and what to take out in order to make this movie.
Well, the challenge here was to make everything fit in just a 1 day shooting, because
Mm,
for budget reason I only had 1 day, and it was like as 8 minutes long, 8 minutes long.
mm,
So I had to rehearse a lot with the two actors, and thanks to them and thanks to the crew, we managed to somehow make this, fit in a 1 day shooting test. That was the challenge. But actually, I don't have
mm,
much material that what you saw, because I mean, I removed some stuff from the final edit, but it's pretty much what was written. Because
Okay.
again, I couldn't make one extra shot. I couldn't even do it because I didn't have time. Uh, it was like during winter time, so I couldn't even have like enough lights outside. So I really had to, respect the schedule. So I think we finished like half an hour late, but it was like 9 hours shooting for 8 minutes. And but again, thanks to the crew and to the actors and
Mm,
all the rehearsal we did together, we made that happen.
absolutely. So one day, that was really one day, and that was the first challenge. And second, that it took a little like half an hour more to finish. I'm wondering regarding the casting. So how that process went to, and once you went over all the people, the actors that tried to get the role. What was your thought process into, okay, these two are the right pair for this film?
So the thing is, I didn't do any casting because I saw Leslie Clark is playing the elderly man, and I saw him
Mhm.
actually on another casting for a commercial, and I couldn't have him for some reason because I mean it's a pretty long story, but long story short, he almost broke his leg anyway. But I loved him.
Mm,
I loved him. I loved the way he acted and everything. And then I reached him and I told him, okay, I don't have a story yet.
okay.
I don't have the script yet, but I have the starting point of a story. So I pitched it to him, and then he told me, "Oh, come and see me on stage." So then I went to see him on stage because he lives in Paris. So then I went in theater to see him. He was doing like great um, uh, uh, how to play great
Mhm.
plays. And so that was for Leslie, and for Shanu, this is another story. So he lives in London, and I saw him
Mhm.
in a film for the London mayor to. It was a film to raise awareness against men behavior towards women,
Okay.
and it was brilliant, and I really loved him. And again, I contacted him through Instagram and said, okay, if by any chance would you be able to? I mean, would you be kind enough to read? Like, I mean, I don't have a script yet. I just have this idea, and it was more tricky with him, obviously, because I told him, would you agree to like play like a cat? I mean, like a cat, the reincarnation of a cat. So then, and I didn't know him, so I had to somehow convince him.
Mhm.
Um, so I went to London, which is a city I love. I mean, I did the film. The film is in English, British English, which is.
Yeah.
I mean, for some reason, I can't really explain why. But the thing is, I have something with this language that I love, and especially the British English. Anyway,
Mhm.
so then I went to London, and then I had a coffee with Shanu, and I was trying to explain it. So okay, this is absurd, but the thing is, this is what I really want to talk about in this film, which is actually pretty much, as I said, like a story about love. And
Mhm.
and and luckily enough, he said, "All right, okay, let's do this." And I knew that I had my. I mean, we did the first rehearsal in London, like a few months later, because I
Okay.
start writing when once I had my casting, then I started writing, and then they met in London, both of them, and then I knew that
Mm.
they were perfect
A
for
click.
for this film. Yeah, they clicked exactly.
Excellent. Is there any behind the scenes thing that happened within those 24 hours of shooting that you would like to share? That, some curiosities or things that were not expected and happened?
Well, there is the only thing that I can say that the mood when you're making short films, it's always like you need people know that you need help. You need like the
Mm.
good. I mean, in every shooting you need help, and you need to have like to trust your crew and the crew to trust you and everything. But the thing is, here especially since you know that no one's gonna get rich thanks to this film, no one. So it just has to be a good moment for everyone. It just has to be like something we all believe in, and and I really felt that. And just
Mm.
yeah, I have a one. I mean, it's not a funny anecdote, but it's like people for the people to making the crafty. They were friends
Mhm.
of mine, and and they were like very good friends of mine, and they never worked on a shooting before. And I asked them,
Mm.
okay, please, I need help from anywhere because I have to. I really, I'd rather like to work with friends even if they don't have done any shooting before, rather than having
Mhm.
like professional, but taking the risk of having like a bad mood on the set. I'm not saying that working with professional would make a bad mood, but the thing is, I knew that if I had like friends and people I'm really
Mm.
close with on the crew, in the crew, then I would have like the perfect yeah, the perfect mood on the set and the perfect I don't know, energy.
Definitely. You know them, you trust them. Therefore, it's
Yeah.
even easier to give directions. And I can see how it did play out during the making of this movie. Actually, I would also like to know if there was a message or a feeling that you would like the viewers to have or to take away. What would it be?
Well, I think at the end of the day, yeah, as I said, it's like it's not a love story, but it's a story about love, and that's the only thing. I mean, it sounds hippie, but I assume it's like it's that's the only thing that matters to me, and that's what I wanted to and that's what I wanted to put in a story.
Yeah.
There is maybe you heard Phoebe Waller-Bridge, you know, the woman who did like Fleabag, the series Fleabag. I don't know if you ever seen it, where she says you have to something very accurate to me, which is
Yeah.
you have uh, well, how did she say that? She says that I'm trying to translate it in English. It's actually in English, but then I translated it in French in my head, and now I
In
have to
French.
translate it back. Yeah, first you have to take the audience and make them, yeah, make uh, disarm them with comedy, and then punch them in the face with drama,
Mm.
something like that. All right. So that's what I wanted. I tried to do with this film, like okay, you think it's going to be a comedy first because it's like an absurd starting point, which is like someone who is meeting his the reincarnation uh, um, of his cat, of his beloved cat, and then it's actually something else. And what I like the audience to to I don't know, maybe feel at the end of the film is like maybe yeah, maybe it's this feeling of um um, humble love. I don't know if that makes sense in
Humble
English, but
love.
yeah.
Okay, humble love. Fantastic. There you have it. If you were to recommend two movies, it could be your favorite ones or ones that you have seen lately that you're like, oh, what a movie! People need to watch this. Watch this. Which one it would be?
Well, there is one thing that I love because this is exactly what I would like to achieve if I one day have the chance to make a feature film.
Okay.
It's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind from Michel Gondry, who's a French director, but it's an American film with Jim Carrey and Kate
Oh
Winslet.
yes, fantastic movie. I've seen it. Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Because it has this right balance between poetry and also very good storytelling,
Yeah.
and again it's a love story, but it's much so much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean I could talk about this movie for hours because I think it's like the best casting you could ever get, because also these actors, you know, they brought everything that we thought about them
Mm-hmm.
with them in this film. You know, like Jim Carrey was this clown at the time, and Kate Winslet was, you know, this Titanic icon, and
Yeah.
together they were like some people for us before we even started to see the film, and then what they become in the film throughout the film. it's like well, it's a mind-blowing masterpiece for me. So I really love that film. And if I had another film, maybe something that I've seen this year, well, there is a French film that I saw like a week ago, and
Okay.
I keep thinking about it since I've seen it. It's called Disco Boy, and
This-
it's I don't think it's famous. I mean, I don't even know if they released it in Canada, but I loved it
Okay.
because like I've never seen a film with so little things which tells so much things. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like even each movements of any
Mhm.
characters have been removed. It's like there is a cut, you see a shot with the guy is here, and then there is a like reverse shot, and then back to the first one, and then he moved, but you don't see him moving. It's like everything superfluous has been removed. If you
Mm.
something that you would like, you would naturally keep in the cut because you're like, oh, I'd like to, I mean, I think the audience wants to understand. Then you realize in this film that you actually don't need this movement.
Mm.
You
Mm.
understand it because he has moved. So and it's full of tons of stuff like that. They removed all the superfluous stuff, and it's only, reduced. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like cut down to the absolute like only what was needed to say the
Okay.
story, which is
Oh,
really
okay.
impressive, and it's a very inspiring way of improving his work. When I saw that, I was
Mm.
like, oh my god, yes. I mean, there are so many shots that I've left just because I thought that we wouldn't understand if we can see the guy opening the door, if we can see the guy shaking his hand. But actually, I think you can remove tons of stuff, and the
Mm.
audience will figure things out anyway.
Okay, okay. It's so I find it so interesting to see things from the lens of a filmmaker. So definitely, I'll be looking into it. You said Disco Ball is the name.
Disco Boy, yeah, Disco Boy,
Disco Ball.
Discoboy.
Excellent. And so, as a final question, since you took the 10 years in order to create your film, even though you were always involved, I would like to know if you have any advice for these upcoming filmmakers or even screenwriters, those that have all the gear but haven't taken a chance to start filming. Those who are wondering, okay, where do I go from here? Any advice you would like to share with us?
Well, I actually have one great advice. It's do not wait 10 years because you'll keep learning. You will keep learning. The thing is, I haven't lost these 10 years, but the thing is, you have to, I mean, you write, you direct, you edit, and then
Mm,
you realize what you actually wrote when it's like cut.
mm,
And this is, I mean, believe me or not, but thanks for the milk. I've discovered the film once I first saw it. I mean, I wrote it,
mhm,
I rehearsed it, I was directing it, and
mhm,
then we've done the edit, and then I first look at it. I think it was the third day of the
mhm,
editing process, and I was like, okay, so that is the film, and I've seen it for the first time, and this is a good feeling, but also quite scary to be honest, because I'm like
mm.
directing for 16 years now. I've been directing for 16 years, so I'm like I was kind of thinking that I was somehow knowing what I was doing and now
Yeah.
realizing that okay, this is something that I haven't really planned, the emotion and everything. So yeah, my advice would be do stuff even if it's with your phone or like a cheap camera. It doesn't matter. The thing is, you will learn once the thing has been done and it is like finished. You learn by writing, that's for sure, but it's
Mhm.
only a third part of the process of filmmaking. So
Yeah.
writing is not the end of it, and you have to write and then direct and then edit and then you'll see, okay, I've made that mistake, that mistake, that mistake. I won't do that again. So then you do the next one, and then you do the next one, and then you. So if I started that 10 years ago, I know for sure that I would be a better filmmaker today. So yeah, that would be my advice. Do not wait.
Excellent. Do not wait. Do
Yeah.
stuff. No matter where you are or what you have, you can definitely start doing your film. This was Côme with the director of the film Thank You for the Milk, available at the in Vancouver International Black Film Festival, which is this week from December 13 to 17. Available exclusively online. So make sure you grab your tickets at Vancouver International Black Film Festival.com. Commit, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Sam. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure. And thank you for watching. See you on the next episode.